the picture there. Durab has done extremely well and is expected to do even better. He is a half-brother to the mighty Nabel. He's been, well, she was one of the best horses that we've seen in the last decade, winning lots of big races, including the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe twice and the King George at Ascot in England 3 times. This is St Mark's Basilica. On the left, you briefly saw Royal Word, who's a runner for the Czech Republic. Good to see one of their horses represented here. The country has a rich tradition of horse racing, jumps and flat. Royal Word has won his 2 races this year. It'll be very interesting to see where he finishes, but he is drawn wide. This is Magellan. This one's definitely got a chance. One of the British runners, Olivier Pellier. It's a very good booking for John and Thady Gosden here. And Magellan, who finished second in the York Derby trial, the Dante. The form was upheld, I think, yesterday at Epsom. The winner of that race finishing an honourable 3rd. Van Gogh again. Colin Keane riding for Aidan O'Brien. That's El Drama in the middle with the yellow jacket. 19 runners. The draw here is going to be very important, I think. 19 starting stalls. If you're drawn high, it's very difficult to get a position, particularly if you're on a horse that needs to either lead or be prominent in the early part of the race. If the horse comes from behind, it's not quite so bad because the jockey can drop in behind other runners and move over to the inside rail to save a bit of ground. But a front runner coming from a very high stall, it's a really hard thing to pull off. So, for example, Macaloon is stall 18, drawn high. Royal Word is drawn 17. Smile Makers is in stall 16. Magellan's in 15. That's not great for him. And Cheshire Academy has got the worst one of the lot, stall 19, right on the outside. Having said that, if you've got a front runner and it's drawn very low near the inside rail, that is a very good thing. But if the horse has to come from behind and it's in a low starting stall, so say 1 to 5, there is a danger that as the jockey takes the pull coming out of the starting stalls to steady the horse, it could find itself behind a lot of other runners here, and that could prove difficult to get through the traffic in the home straight. So I personally think that stall 5 to 10 is a good stall in general, but it does very much depend on the tactics that the jockey adopts. Mille Bosque in the white jacket, the purple cap on the right. The dark brown with the red cap is Fort Payne. Ran very well to finish 3rd behind Macaloon last time out. Has to reverse that form, but it was a good effort, and all through his career he has been impressing. He's worth a go at this race here this afternoon, but like a lot of these, they're taking on some seriously good horses here, and even a horse that's previously done well at Group 3 or Group 2 level, coming into a Group 1 race like this, they will certainly know that they've had a race today. This is Mille Bosque in the white jacket coming in front of us here. Pretty Tiger in the purple with the white sleeves. Smile Makers with the yellow cap, Seal Away with the yellow cap and the green spots, if you're following those two. There is Seal Away walking through. Yellow-green cross belts. Also has a sheepskin noseband. And they're starting to load. First one in is Mille Bosque. Qatar Prix du Jockey Club is just minutes away. This is St Mark's Basilica moving up now. Magellan in the centre of the picture, Macaloon on the left. This is Syedabad going in now, green and red. First 4 are installed, so starting to the left of the grandstand as we look out, and running from left to right along the back straight, and a home run of about 600 metres uphill. Van Gogh is going to be one of the next ones up in the blue and orange here. Following keen riding. Expect to see Ryan Moore on one of Aidan O'Brien's runners normally, but of course international travel is not easy at the moment, which is why Andrea Azzini is not riding El Drama, and Miguel Barcelona takes his place. This is El Drama. He impressed at Chester when he won, same distance as today, but he wouldn't have the stamina for the Epsom Derby. This race looks perfect for him. One of several British runners in the race. This is Durab, another one who's sweating up a bit. Half loaded. There's the scene from behind the starting stalls, looking up the back straight. You can see just how difficult it is for horses that are drawn wide to get across and save ground by the time they've got to that bend. Well, there's quite a run before they get to the turn, with 19 taking part here. That's a lot of horses to weave your way between in order to get over towards the inside rail, not lose too much ground on the corner. Next one up is Policy of Truth. This horse might just last out a mile and a quarter. I think the soft ground just puts extra emphasis on stamina though, so it'll be touch and go with him. This one going in now is that Harmo, Maxime Guillon on board. McGallen is the next one up. We're down to the last half dozen or so now. That's McGallen in the stalls, with Olivier Pellier on board. This is Royal Word, the Czech runner. Won both of his races this year, but this is something else. He's worth his place in the lineup, though. Looking for a big run from the Czech horse here this afternoon. He has got a very wide starting stall in 17. Just a few more to go now. 4 left. This is Baby Rider, and this one here is Normandy Bridge. A little bit disappointing in his 2 races this year. And just 3 to go. Normandy Bridge moving up now with João Mosse on board. Three left. Macaloon comes up. He's sweating a bit, but it's a warm afternoon in Paris. Baby Rider with a white face and feet. Winner of both his races this year. Let's see how they go. Last one in. At racing for the Qatar Prix du Jockey Club. And along the back straight, a nice, decent break. Nothing really missed it. And going along the far side, El Drama is one of those disputing the lead. Sealaway is right up with him with the sheepskin noseband. And St Mark's Basilica, purple jacket over on this side. Knights Tightness right in the lead in Group 2. Then out wider is Baby Rider with a white face. As they go on towards the end of the back straight, at Harmo, blue with white sleeves, is settled on the heels of the leaders. Mil Bosco over near the inside rail, and then Fort Payne. Having covered the first 400 metres, Pretty Tiger is buried away in midfield, and followed then by the Czech runner Royal Word as they go towards the end of the far side. And Smile Makers is some way back in the field as they turn out of the back straight. Smile Makers has only got about 6 behind him. Fort Payne to the outside of it, and Durab's got a lot to do as well. Well back is McGallen near the rear, along with Macaloon, and also Sayyidabad, who is currently second last in Cheshire Academy as the back marker. Down the hill towards the home straight here, and it's Normandy Bridge who's just got the lead from El Drama second. Then Baby Rider to the outside of those. St Mark's Basilica up against the inside rail. And then followed by Knight Titan running a big race fourth, fifth now as they come on the bend. Then followed by Sealaway as sixth in the yellow jacket, cornering now. Then Policy of Truth is out on the right with the Maroon Sleeves just being punched along now. St Mark's Basilica travelling well behind the lead as if he can get a run about fourth. Purple Jacket on the left, but as they come towards the final 400 metres, and it's Normandy Bridge still in front. He's a hard horse to pass this one. Here is Seal Away putting in a big run on this side, coming almost level now, and St Mark's Basilica getting up the inside rail. Here is Milboss finishing well with the purple cap, and on the outside Pretty Tigers coming home late too, but St Mark's Basilica, Yuritsa Mendizabal for Aidan O'Brien. There were concerns about his stamina, but he's got home really well, and he's won from Seal Away, and Milboss is tight for second, and Saidabad coming home well to be involved for the minor places. He's done it. St Mark's Basilica, a win for Aidan O'Brien. His runner in the Epsom Derby yesterday, Bolshoi Ballet, was rather disappointing. He didn't live up to expectations, but this one has exceeded expectations. He won the French 2,000 guineas well, 8-12-6, and we're just going to sort out the minors. 6 and 12, it's close for second, so 6 and 12 close for second. Big finish from Milboss in the white jacket on this side, and has made it very interesting with Seal Away for second place there. But no doubt about the winner, St Mark's Basilica. There were doubts about his stamina because he's got so much speed, but on the day he has stayed the mile and a quarter, the 2,100 metres, really well. And that's another big race win for Yuritsa Mendizabal, his jockey, who has ridden dozens of big race winners over the years. Let's have a look at the closing stages here. He did get a lovely run up the inside. Look at him, Purple Jacket. I wondered whether the gap was going to appear, but there it is. And rather like the winner of the Epsom Derby yesterday, he shot through and had won the race, in the case. Well, it took a couple of strides, didn't it, really, for the horse to put his seal on the race. And look at the way he's striding out up the hill to the winning line. He's done it extremely well. Seal Away in the yellow jacket, and Milboss coming home this side. I think probably Seal Away has just held on for second place, but yes, it has. Seal Away second, Milboss for third. And then Saidabad, amazingly, has finished fourth, having been right at the back of the field, turning for home. Has made a lot of ground in the last 600 metres of the race. Never nearer than fourth, and was really going on at the finish. I think the way that horse has run today, one of Jean-Claude Rouget's team in the race today, I think that horse will be suited by a mile and a half, because he's so... You've seen there the green jacket with the red sash, coming home the best of all of the runners, and passing something like 14 rivals in the home straight. Look at the way this horse stretches out St Mark's Basilica. He was rated the best two-year-old in Europe last year. He seemed to confirm that first time out this year in the Poulain, the French 2,000 guineas. But the big question was, would he be able to last out the extra distance today? When you see how he's won, you wonder why we ever asked the question, because he stayed the distance really well, and actually one wonders whether he might get a little bit further. I don't think that he's likely to get the chance, because I reckon that Aidan O'Brien will keep him at a mile and a quarter. I think he could also comfortably drop to a mile as well, back to the winning distance of the French 2,000. So he's got options for either 1 mile or a mile and a quarter. So 1,600 metres or 2,100 metres for the rest of the season, because he's got so much speed. I think the idea of maybe taking him down the route towards the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe in the autumn might just be partly it's over-ambitious and partly it's unnecessary, because there are many good races around the world over this sort of distance. 2,000, actually 2,100 metres today, but 2,000 metres is a very popular distance for big races around the world, and I would think he'd look very much at home in just about any of them. What a nice horse he is. And he's trained on really well from last year. It's always a concern when you have a horse who's so good as a two-year-old, and he was top rated in Europe last year, whether or not they will make it through the winter, whether they train on, or whether, like a lot of horses, something happens to them during those dark winter months in Europe when they lose their ability, and their form when they come out in the spring is nothing like as good as we'd hope. But in this case, he's the equal, I think, of what he was last year, which is extremely good. A top-class horse by any standards in any season. 8, 12, 6, 4, 19. So 8 the winner, St Mark's Basilica. Juritz Mendizabal, Aidan O'Brien. And owned by the Coolmore team, who's Aidan O'Brien, the trainer, always refers to them as the lads. These are Derek Smith's colours, one of the lads. They have the purple with the white seams. But also involved in this particular horse, Sue Magner and Michael Tabor, and you will see those three, and also John Magner himself represented in a lot of these big race winners trained by Aidan O'Brien. Just different combinations of those 4 names, and different colours as well. In this case, Derek Smith's colours, but sometimes the colours of John Magner, the dark blue, or the colours of Michael Tabor, orange and blue. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter whose colours they carry. The important thing is how they win, and this horse has done it this afternoon in the style of a very smart performer. I think it'll be exciting to see him run against the older horses later on. That may not come just yet. He's a 3-year-old, of course, like all of the horses in the race. It will come eventually. I suppose it's possible he might go to Royal Ascot for St James's Palace, over a mile, but if he sticks to a mile and a quarter, actually that race is coming up quite soon. It might come a bit too quickly after this one today, but a mile and a quarter, I suppose. One possibility might be the Eclipse Stakes at Sandown Park in Britain, where he would take on older horses. Or there would be other options in France and in other countries too. I think a horse that can produce that sort of performance over a mile and a mile and a quarter is going to be pretty easy to place. And if he can keep up what he did today, he's going to be winning his fair share too, isn't he? Little connections. Here come the horses at St Mark's Basilica. St Mark's Basilica already 2.5 lengths clear by that point. And you didn't really have to get the best of views in between the spectators to realise that he was winning that easily. Well, I suppose Ryan Moore would normally have been on this board. This is a great winning opportunity for this experienced and very talented French-based jockey. And the problems that have been thrown up by the movement from one racing country to another by the COVID regulations has meant that very often trainers have had to go for a top jockey if they can find one, not already riding in the race, rather than use one of their usual team. So Ryan Moore had a disappointing ride at Epsom yesterday on Shoy Ballet, and he's had to sit back in his home country today and watching a horse that he would normally have ridden, putting up a very stylish win here in France. That was so impressive, the way he quickened up. When that gap appeared, he shot through it. It was as if he was full of running and just waiting for his opportunity. And it takes a very good horse indeed to go from up through the gears as quickly as that when the opportunity presents it. But he was always travelling well. And the other horses behind, though they've run well, just weren't in his class today. Cheshire Academy has finished in 5th place. He's put up a good performance, beaten for the first time today, but that was a good run from him from a nasty stall. He was horse number 19, but also drawn 19 on the wide outside. Sealaway was always prominent, 2nd place, number 12. This result is provisional. It's not yet been confirmed by the the stewards, because the jockeys are in the process of weighing in at the moment, but that will come very soon. There's no sign of anything like a steward's inquiry. It's simply a case now of everything being approved, with the jockeys having weighed in at roughly the same rate as they weighed out. But it's quite a long way behind the grandstand to get back to the winners' enclosure, which is in the parade ring here, behind the grandstand. You can see they're only just arriving. We haven't got to the presentation for the race yet. But there's the winning horse. So it's 8-12-6. Milbosch, I thought, ran really well coming home from a long way back. He lacked experience, but he's run really well in his last couple of races. Second to Macaloon last time out. I don't know if that counts as a Frankie Dettori flying dismount. Not quite, but halfway there. Milbosch then a horse, I think, for the future, having run really well against good horses now in the last couple of races. And also the fact that he finished so strongly today suggests that he needs at least 1.25 miles and could well stay 1.5 miles. 2,400 metres, in other words. In fourth place, Sayyidabad, we talked about him. He finished best of all from nearly last place, turning for home. And number 10, Pretty Tiger, who was in the chasing group most of the way. He was always about 6th, 7th or 8th, and he has finished 6th. He was disqualified from first place last time out and placed second, but that was bad luck for him then. But today, although he hasn't quite run up to that standard, this was an even tougher race than that one. And I think he's done very respectably to finish 6th. So another horse who should find a decent race or two before the end of the year. Here is the winning jockey. This is the inside of the weighing room. He's got to sit on the scales now, make sure he comes back at roughly the same weight as they went out. Allowed a little bit of leeway, and that will confirm his victory. No sign that he may have lost anything on the way round that would jeopardise that. He certainly hasn't forgotten to weigh in, as jockeys have occasionally somehow managed to do. So that all looks straightforward. And meanwhile, back in the parade ring and the winners' enclosure, St Mark's Basilica. Sealaway second. Still provisional, this. Still the winning jockey weighing in. Just got to make sure all the others are now. Milbosch for third. Sayyidabad fourth. Cheshire Academy in fifth place. And Aidan O'Brien, who invariably has a stable full of talent. And of course, it self-perpetuates, because the horses that win these big races, these classic races, then go on to become stallions or mares when they retire. Mares who are used for breeding. The stallions can cover dozens of horses a year, in some cases hundreds. It depends how exclusive the connections want the horse to be. But I should think that St Mark's Basilica will join all the other lovely horses at Coolmore in Ireland and become a super stallion of the future. There's the winning horse being led away. It's a lovely bright reddish bay, as you can see. He's perky, he's strong, and he actually looks remarkably fresh, doesn't he, when you consider he's just won the French Derby, the Qatar Prix de Jockey Club. Presentation will take place in the winners' enclosure shortly, which is in the main parade ring. We've got time to have a look at the race again. El Drama Yellow Jacket, 3 or 4 from the right, disputing Sealaway with the sheepskin noseband, yellow with the green cross belts. Ninth Titan over on this side of that one is pulling a bit, actually, in the 2 shades of blue with the white cap, but you can see the winner's already in a lovely position there, the purple and white jacket, tracking the 2 or 3 leaders. He's got a beautiful position from stall 2 against the inside rail. The only possibility might be that something in front of him might box him in the home straight, but by being so prominent, there aren't that many horses ahead of him that could actually do that. Milbosc, who eventually came home to be involved for second. You can see midfield there, white jacket, purple cap. And Seal Away, the eventual runner-up, has been steadied back. He's quite keen in the yellow with the green cross belt, steadied back into about 6th place there on the turn. You can see there how far back Saidabad is. Green jacket, red sash on the inside of Cheshire Academy. Tourneifel, and those two are disputing last place. Van Gogh in blue and orange. Aidan O'Brien's other runner is a long way back. He's 5th last. McGallen is alongside him. He had a lot to do at this stage, never quite got into it. Durab, another British runner. Green and whites for the pink cap, is buried away in midfield. He never quite got competitive. He's a half-brother to Enable. You can see him being pulled out at this point. Durab, pink cap, 3 from the right. He starts an effort now, but unfortunately the leaders have just got too much ground on him, and although he plugs on, he never really quite looks like getting there. Milbosc is coming home well. The purple cap actually ran into the back of Seal Away there. Had to be pulled outside, otherwise it may quite possibly Milbosc could have got 2nd place, but he's just lost out on that by a short head by the looks of it. And they were well stretched out at the finish, weren't they? So we'll see the presentation just before we leave you for today. Here it's Mendizabal about to receive his part of the trophies. This is well, got a beautiful set of silver cups by the look of it. Meanwhile, here is the winner, enjoying a well-deserved shower after the race. It's quite a sticky afternoon in Paris. We'll see them again in the home straight here. And do remember, it does take a bit of stamina to get up to the winning line here, because they are running uphill at this stage. So anybody who thought St Mark's Basilica's stamina was in doubt, I think we'd have to concede there that he has stayed this distance of 2,100 metres really well today. No sign of stopping. He showed everything that you need in a top-class horse. He settled well, he showed pace early on, he showed an instant turn of foot when the gap appeared, and he's finished off in the style of a horse that wasn't flagging at the finish. So this is a lovely horse all round, and I think Aidan O'Brien, his trainer, will be thinking, where are we going to go with him next? Or they may well already have a plan mapped out. So presentation taking place. Silver cups all round. And it's official now. St Mark's Basilica, the winner. Seal Away 2nd. Milbosc for 3rd. Saidabad a fast finishing 4th. And a happy scene in the winners' enclosure at Chantilly this afternoon. And if these classic races are meant to provide champion horses for us to look back on fondly, and also to provide, there's the winning jockey, and to, when they retire, to provide the stallion services that will lead to the champions of the future, then you have to say that this horse today has achieved the first part of that magnificently. And there'll be quite a few more races to come before he calls it a day, I would think. So we're only halfway through the journey for this lovely horse trained by Aidan O'Brien. And options, of course, that go through right until the end of the year these days. There are races all around the world they might consider. Possibly go to the Breeders' Cup in America. There are races all over Europe. Many other places as well. And when you've got a horse as good as this one, you can virtually pick your targets to suit your timetable. And good to see a prize for the groom as well. You saw him leading the horse up before the race in the parade ring, and he's got a lovely medal there to take home. And here's a picture already developed and in the frame. even though it only happened a few minutes ago, of St Mark's Basilica winning. Well, bravo to all. This race has been won by many a top horse over the years. And of all the winners of the Qassar Prix du Jockey Club over the decades, I think you can put this down as one of the better winners, the very best winners this afternoon. And it's going to be really exciting to see where he goes for the rest of the season. And that is where we leave you for today. Thank you very much for joining us. The triumphant jockey, Joris Mendizabal. Another big race win for him. And another big race win for trainer Aidan O'Brien. It is a victory for Ireland in France this afternoon. And that was the jockey's attempt, and it wasn't a bad one, at doing a Frankie Dettori flying dismount. So well done to him, well done to everybody involved. Thank you for joining us in Paris this afternoon. And we'll be looking forward with some fondness, I think, to see where this horse goes in the summer months and which horses he will take off. I think we're going to see some very, very good races just so long as he's involved. Thanks for joining us today, and do join us again soon for some more top racing from France on a Sunday afternoon.
Merci beaucoup. Après, quand on hésite, il faut pas hésiter. Donc je suis venu.
Mais vous avez compris que